He was one of the most feared and notorious emperors ancient Rome has ever seen. So why is he suddenly finding new friends online? Also on this week's travel show, as the countdown to Rio continues, we take to the waters of Copacabana Beach.
Yes! Yeah, man. Halfway! Halfway!
Woo. This week's Global Gourmet takes on a traditionally British challenge.
Should be nice and soft inside.
And we meet the man who's definitely cut out for life on the road in trending travel. Few cities in the world can rival Rome's wealth of artistic heritage. The city is awash with priceless treasures, from ancient statues to famous paintings. It's easy to see why Rome is the third most visited destination in Europe after London and Paris. When you're here without even trying, you can spot so much history. But the building I'm most interested in seeing is Nero's Domus Aurea.
Nero's Golden House is like so beautiful, and it provided the inspiration for a lot of the architecture here in Rome. Even some of the paintings and frescoes in the Vatican copied Nero's style. And if they can't find the funding to restore Nero's Golden House, a really important part of Rome's history could be lost forever.
Nero was the 5th Roman emperor and the last of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. His palace was built between 64 and 68 AD, and it was definitely meant to get the neighbours jealous. Covering the size of 3 modern-day football pitches with lavishly painted walls encrusted with precious gemstones, it was where the in-crowd partied and the emperor flashed his cash. After Nero's death, his palace fell into disrepair and eventually became buried underneath centuries of urban development. That was until 1930, when the sections you can see today were first excavated.
Hey!
Hi,
Hi, I'm Addy.
I'm Alessandro.
Nice
to meet you.
Yeah.
Welcome at Domus Aurea.
Thank you. Shall we go in?
Yes, of course.
My guide for today is one of the archaeologists responsible for the ongoing excavation and preservation of the Domus Aurea. And it's a daunting project that will cost at least another 30 million euros to complete.
We are into the Nymphaeum. It's a room similar to the cave, as you can see by the decoration of the vault. And you can see in the center of the vault there is a mosaic with a representation of Ulysses giving the cup of wine to Polyphemus.
What was it like, you know, when this was first built? How did it feel, the sound?
Yes, the sound, the colors, the entering of the light.
So there was light coming in
Yes.
as well. And these are fantastic.
Yes, because we can imagine all the walls covered by frescoes or marble slabs.
What's obvious to me is that excavating and preserving the palace is a massive task, and it's a real race against time. Whenever it rains, the weight on the already precarious 2,000-year-old roof increases, and the roots from the trees at ground level are causing continuous structural damage.
This is a unique monument. It's the house of Nero, and we have to conserve ancient monuments. And so it's very important to work here for the next generation.
To allow the archaeologists to do their job, currently the site is only open to tourists at weekends. But with the Italian government strapped for cash, Rome has had to become increasingly creative about how it raises money to preserve its past. and Nero's Dormus Aurea is one of the first sites to turn to crowdfunding for help.
Il restauro della Domus Aurea richiede una quantità di fondi molto consistente, ovviamente, perché l'ampiezza degli ambienti, il numero degli ambienti naturalmente fanno delle cifre spaventose. E naturalmente abbiamo dei fondi che il Ministro ha messo a disposizione, ma abbiamo bisogno di molto aiuto e quindi noi contiamo che con il crowdfunding si possa raccogliere fondi per il restauro di questo grande monumento.
Since 2014, companies funding restoration projects have been offered tax breaks. Luxury label Tod's bankrolled the Colosseum's current restoration, while Fendi, better known for fashion than philanthropy, picked up the tab for the Trevi Fountains refurb. But is crowdfunding the way forward?
Il crowdfunding noi lo abbiamo soprattutto lanciato nel mondo web. Purtroppo devo dire che finora i risultati non sono stati straordinari. Un pochino viviamo del fatto che la stampa aveva dato particolare risalto alla riapertura del monumento in corso di restauro. Poi via via il pubblico naturalmente un po' dimentica questo monumento.
So far, only €21,000 have been raised via crowdfunding, and most of that has come from tourists rather than Romans themselves. But what the project has done is raise awareness of the urgent need to find new funding models when it comes to excavation and preservation. And while crowdfunding might not be the total answer to the problem, it could certainly prove to be part of the solution. And crowdfunding isn't just happening here in Rome, it's a trend that's gathering momentum all over the world. So here's the travel show's rundown of other historical sites that have had a little help from their friends over the years. America was home to one of the first big-scale crowdfunding campaigns, 19th century style. Back in 1885, locals in New York rallied together to fund the granite plinth which holds the Statue of Liberty. Back then, New Yorkers raised more than $250,000 for Lady Liberty. That's around £4 million in today's money. A pristine beach in New Zealand bought through crowdfunding has been handed over to its new owners, the public. Nearly 40,000 people donated almost $2 million to buy the Awaroa beach in the Abel Tasman National Park on the South Island. The purchase means the beach will remain out of private hands, so that's a good result. And back in Italy, Pompeii is the latest historical site to call the public to help, where a crowdfunding site to help restore the Dormus of the Centaur has just been set up. Dating back to the 2nd century BC, it's one of the doomed city's most important buildings and is currently closed to tourists until restoration work can be completed to make it safe to visit. Next on the travel show, it's this week's Global Gourmet. It's high summer in Britain, so picnics are the order of the day, if the weather plays ball, and what better treat to take along than a humble Scotch egg. Long derided as a tasteless petrol station snack, but for this week's MasterChef, it's a thing of gastronomic beauty.
I'm Matt Reuter, head chef for Princess Victoria and Shepherd's Bush. One thing that's always on my menu is the Scotch egg. It's a quick and easy snack, very tasty, good with beer. It's just a very good bar snack. Supposedly first made in Fortnum & Mason's, a fine foods outlet for the rich and the wealthy. Whether that's true or not, no one really knows. They've got a reputation for being pretty bad, to be honest. This is a supermarket brand Scotch egg. I mean, it's hard, it bounces. A decent Scotch egg, good quality meat. I mean, we use Tamworth pork, a decent quality egg. Cook it for 6 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes, depending on the size. Now we're going to peel the egg. should be nice and soft inside. This is our Scotch egg mix, which is our seasoned sausage meat, tarragon and grain mustard. It's going to take 100 grams of that. Just turn it into a flat sort of patty. Take our egg in the middle. So the next stage is the pane, what we call pane, which is flour, egg and breadcrumbs. And so first of all we dip it in the flour, then the egg, and breadcrumb. It's just to give it that nice crunch, so you've got the soft egg, then the firmer meats, and then the crispy coatings. It all adds to the Scotch egg experience. Cook the egg for 8 minutes in a hot fryer. Now we leave it for 1 minute to rest, just to make sure the meat's fully cooked through. So after 1 minute resting, we cut it in half. And there you have a perfectly cooked Scotch egg. Service, please.
Still to come on the travel show.
Carmen's here with Trending Travel. And we're in Rio to get a head start on this year's Olympic swimmers.
This actually is the starting point of the swimming marathon.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
Hello and welcome to Trending Travel, where we explore what's hot online in the world of travel. I'll be bringing you through those essential apps, videos and blogs to take with you when you leave home.
Our top social media stories this month begin off the coast of Australia at the Great Barrier Reef. According to scientists, this year the reef has experienced its most severe coral bleaching on record. It's thought that by now almost a quarter of its coral has already died. Whether the cause is climate change or pollution, there are real fears that tourism figures will dive if the reef degradation continues. Now billionaire businessman Sir Richard Branson has launched his own online campaign to help save this unique natural wonder.
Over the last 20 years, sadly things have gone in the wrong direction, and something has to be done about it.
In the town of Jesolo in Italy, tourists are being offered a sun or your money back deal. Any visitor who books sun lounges at either Green Beach or Oro Beach will be given a full refund if more than 3 millimetres of rain falls on any given day. With current temperatures reaching over 30 degrees, tourists will most likely be paying full price for their sun lounges. Meet Bandito and Luigi, the best friend cat and dog team who have over 30,000 followers on Instagram. Owners Seb and Finn say on their Twitter feed that they are the first pug and cat in the world to walk 1,000 kilometres across Spain, including the Camino de Santiago trail. Images of the pair travelling have racked up thousands of likes, with plenty of loyal Twitter followers expressing their adoration for them. And when Richard McCaw, otherwise known as Paperboyo, was told to go and transform the world, he took it literally. Richard has travelled the globe taking pictures of famous landmarks, using simple paper cutouts to transform the viewer's perspective of them, often in a humorous way. So far, he's accumulated 178,000 Instagram followers from his work.
So my first sort of transformation photo, as it were, was the Big Ben one in London, which I put on my Instagram in June last year, 2015. Before I did the Marilyn Monroe one, the photo that had the most likes was the Lego Man Arc de Triomphe one that I did last year. So it's only been a year that I've been doing this, but it's gone down really well and it's been received really well on Instagram.
We love staying connected with you all online. And don't forget, we're on Facebook, Twitter and email.
You've been sending us some great stuff this month, especially via Twitter on Tuesdays using the hashtag TravelTuesday. A shout out to Sophie Rose's Barbados Beach and Chris Bolton's Plevise National Park in Croatia. Check out our Twitter and Facebook pages for loads of exclusive travel show content and top travel show news stories to keep you up to date and inspired for your next world-class adventure.
Now let's look at the viral videos that have been clocking up the views this month.
Daniel Windsor and his best friend spent a week exploring Iceland to make this film. They say on their Vimeo page that the landscapes were never ending, along with the days. The sun set at 11:30 at night and rose at 3:30 in the morning. The film shows off the country's beautiful, rugged landscape. Directors Matthew Bernard and David Gearsan went to Scotland to craft their short film, aptly named Isolation. It portrays a man who leaves society behind to travel alone in a camper van around the Highlands. They say he attempts to uncover the secrets buried within the mysterious and dramatic landscape on show here. And finally, a sweeping time-lapse of Walt Disney World in Florida, where Anthony Cortez attempts to capture what he says is the extraordinary magic of the place. The footage was shot over the course of 2 years in 4 theme parks, and he claims that he got some of the best shots simply by being in the right place at the right time.
And don't forget to check out our website for all the ways that you can get in touch, or if you've seen anything online that you think we should be looking at. See you next time.
Thanks, Carmen. Well, to end this week, we head to the city that will be at the centre of the world's attention for the next few weeks. The Olympic Games open in Rio on Friday after years of worries about whether the city will be ready. We sent Ayo Akinwolere to test the waters, literally.
It's a big year for Rio. The Olympics are coming. In a beach life city with swimming races in the waves off one of the world's most famous curves of sand, Copacabana.
Now, I'm not an Olympian, but 4 years ago, I set a world record for swimming across the deepest stretch of water in the world, Challenger Deep, out in the Pacific Ocean. Yes! Woo! And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be meeting a local swimmer who tells me he's got a challenge for me out in those waters. But first, let's rewind a bit.
Here's what Rio's beaches are notorious for: pollution and trash. Some of it's visible, some lurks in the waves. The city promised to clean up its waters before the Olympics, but a lot of people who live here still aren't convinced swimming is safe.
Y es un agua bastante sucia, la verdad que la gente acá es como que viene más a pasear, a recorrer, a buscar un lugar para caminar. La gente local no se mete, tal vez algún gringo perdido se mete. Alguna vez yo he nadado acá, no es muy recomendable.
But the bit of water that matters most for the Olympics is on Copacabana. And the World Health Organization says the water there is suitable for swimming. That's not the case for all of Rio's beaches, so check before you get wet.
Quite early out here in Rio, but what a wonderful sunrise. It's absolutely stunning. In just a few moments though, I'm going to be taking on a challenge out there in the ocean. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but from what I've heard about how unclean the ocean is, there's clearly cause for concern. But also, I'm not going to lie, looking at that ocean, it's quite choppy. I'm a little bit worried. Hey! Oh, Victor! You finally made it. Look, we've been in touch for a while, and I know you said you had a bit of a challenge for me. What are we doing today?
Well, actually, we're here in Copacabana Beach, and this is one of the best places in Rio and Brazil for ocean swimming. So my challenge to you is, why don't we swim a bit of the Olympic course, which will take place just here, starting here in Copacabana Fort.
What, we're actually going to be swimming part of the Olympic course?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
What? All right, is the water cold?
Not so much.
All right, you just look after me, all right?
Okay.
Let's do this, brother.
Let's do this.
Go. All right, let's go.
I'm only doing a small part of the swimming marathon course. The Olympians will be swimming 10 kilometers here.
Yes!
Yeah, man.
Halfway! Halfway! Woo. Oh, mate, this is wonderful. Why is this boy here, though? I mean...
Well, I brought you here because this actually is the starting point of the swimming marathon.
No way!
Yeah, there's a big rock down here where it's attached to, and that's where the platform of the swimming marathon will be attached to.
This is it, start
So
of the Olympic marathon swim. Copacabana that side, Sugarloaf that side, and the fort that side. So idyllic, man, so idyllic. Wow, you guys are really lucky here. And you've got the weather for it as well.
Yeah, this is our winter.
Yeah, man. Don't come to London in winter, mate. It's just not the same. I would not put you in the sea there, trust me. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's finish this.
Yeah.
Now this swim isn't exactly a scientific test of whether the water quality is good enough. I just love swimming in the ocean. We're lucky to have this beach almost to ourselves. When the Olympics come to town, there'll be thousands packed onto this sand.
That was it. Just over a kilometre out of the ocean, and we got to taste the Olympic course as well. What an amazing swim. I'm so glad I did that. Thanks a lot, Victor.
I'm happy that you enjoyed, man, and everyone is welcome here.
Of course. I'll be coming back, definitely.
Well, sadly, that's all we got time for this week on The Travel Show. But coming up next week, Krista's testing her nerves on stage in New York to take part in The Moth, a group dedicated to the art of open mic storytelling.
She said, oh, it's fugu. It's like a Japanese puffer fish, right? You know, the one that if they just prepare it very, very slightly wrongly, you die. And I was like, oh!
Find out how she did when she went before the judges next week. Don't forget you can follow all our travels on social media. All the details are on the bottom of your screens right now. But for now, from me and all the Travel Show team here in Rome, it's goodbye.